Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. Now, this might look a little different from what you're used to seeing because we are in our brand new shop. So there is still junk all over the place because we're in the middle of moving, but I realized the other day I hadn't made a video for this week, and I told myself that today I absolutely had to do that. And so what I'm going to do today is answer like a viewer question. So this one comes from Dave in Nashville, my buddy out there in Nashville, and he goes to the Musicians Institute where he builds guitars with my homeboy Brian Nutter, and he wants to know what the differences are between set necks and bolt-on necks. So specifically what Dave asked about was that he'd heard that set necks are more valuable than bolt-on necks, and why would that be? So I'm going to attempt to answer some of that, and I'm going to attempt to talk to you a little bit about some cool stuff that we have going on now that we've moved to a bigger space. And so enough with the bullshit talk, let's just jump right into this topic. All right, at the risk of telling you guys something that you already know, I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning, and I'm going to walk you through some of the things that we like to talk about here at the shop. So your standard bolt-on neck construction that I would call built using the modern technique, pioneered by guys like Leo Fender. Now I know Leo Fender didn't, come up with this, but the whole idea is that you have a neck that simply bolts on or screws into this pocket, and the body could look almost like anything. This is a classic Telecaster shape. By the way, this is one of the bodies that doesn't owe us anything that we're selling. So the whole idea is that it's easy to assemble and put together, and it does everything that an electric guitar needs to do. So some people associate bolt-on neck instruments with low cost, and that is absolutely not the case. When it comes to first cool kind of stuff that we talk about a lot, you know what I mean, capability, the bolt-on or screwed-in neck doesn't really leave anything off the table that you do get with a set neck. But you do have hardware, you know what I mean? You have a plate here and some screws or some bolts. You can either screw the neck in, with wood screws, or you can use bolts and anchors like I've showed you guys in videos in the past. But when it comes to second kind of cool, well, lots of people make these. You can call up me, or you can call up Warmoth, or you can call up a lot of people and you can get one of these. So there's certainly nothing wrong with this. As a matter of fact, there's a lot right with this. Let me tell you a little bit of the things, some of the things that are advantages of this type of construction. One of those is that if something happens to your neck, you can pull it off, and 9 times out of 10, you can just buy a new neck for that. Or you might have to have somebody build you a neck, but it's easy to replace because it's not glued into the body. Another cool feature is if the neck pocket is super loose, it really doesn't matter because it's being held on by screws. It's not the tension of the two woods interacting with aliphatic resin, which you kind of has to, the joints have to be fairly tight in order for that stuff to work like you want it to. So I would much rather have a bolted on neck if the neck pocket was a little bit oversized than a set neck with an oversized neck pocket. There's just a bunch of putty and glue jammed in there. Let's see. Another cool thing is if you need to compensate for your bridge, you can kind of shim the neck a little bit. You can add some stuff under here, whether you use just like one single piece of shim here or an actual angled piece of shim that goes from from this end of the pocket to here. You can do either one. They both work very, very well. So you can adjust for bridges. Another cool thing about using the modern technique to build guitars is when you're finishing, you don't have a neck and a body attached. You can just spray finish on this. It's much easier to manipulate in your spray booth. And you can do, a hard finish on the body and say an oil finish on the neck. So that's kind of cool. I'm sure there's lots of other reasons why you would want to go with a bolt-on neck using the modern technique of construction. By the way, I didn't invent the term the modern technique. I stole it from a completely other industry, and those of you who know me will know what I'm talking about. But You heard it here first. I'm calling this the modern technique, and if you go to our website and look up classes, you'll see a lot about using. You'll see a lot of classes where we teach you the modern technique of guitar building. But now let's move forward to some set neck features and design elements. And let me get that here. So this is a guitar that I'm building for Nick, and it is the Mosrite shape. This is out. This is with using black limba. A lot of people who like Gibsons call it Carina. So what will happen here? Hold on, let me see. Is the neck will be. Get in there. There we go. So the neck will actually be set in like so, and it's good to go. Now. There are some really cool advantages to set neck guitars. Come up there. One is, remember we already talked about if they're both done properly and they're both done correctly. There's no first cool differences. When we're talking about capability, when we talk about first cool, there's no first cool differences. I don't think between set neck and bolt-on neck. So what we are talking about though is some of the perceived value stuff, second cool. The stuff that you can't really put your finger on, you know it's there, but you can't necessarily explain it to your old lady when she goes, what's this bill for this awesome guitar that you just got? So let's talk a little bit about some of the construction techniques. So the set necks typically have a neck that's a little thicker and an angled headstock. Now, not always, but a lot of times what you'll find with set neck instruments is this angled headstock. So you need a little bit more meat here to do this, or you could use a scarf joint. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, or in another video rather. So the set neck is just a classy way to go. One other cool thing I like about set neck construction is you don't have that tongue sticking out. So imagine if this were a bolt-on neck and the end of the neck is right here. Well, you would need to have a thing kind of poking out here to hold the neck on securely, so you can get those screws in there. But on a set neck guitar, you don't necessarily have to do that, and you can take advantage of, like as I have done here. I've actually extended the neck into this neck pickup cavity. You know what though? You could probably do exactly the same thing. As a matter of fact, we have done exactly the same thing where we've bolted necks like this into the body. So you could bolt on this neck and then have two of the screws be down here on this tongue on the neck rather than have a tongue on the body itself. So as far as second cool goes, I love the way set necks look, and I just dig them. And if you do them right, they're super awesome. Now, if you have an issue with your neck, you're going to have to, repairing said neck is going to be a little more of a pain, a little trickier. But boy, I think that people dig. I think there's something cool about building a guitar with glued-in neck construction. It's classic, it's old school, and as you all know, I like old school stuff. So I'd like to know what you guys think. What do you think of set neck versus bolt-on, or what we're calling now old school versus the modern technique? I'm anxious to hear what you guys think of that, and we can talk a lot more about this because I think there's a bunch of good stuff that has come up in the conversation about set necks versus bolt-on, and it's a topic that I like to talk about. Just a second ago we talked about bolting on a neck that was designed to be glued in. I used to work for a guy, Bruce Clay, at Rarebird Guitar Laboratories, and one of his things that he did, a service that he offered, was he would shim necks that were a little bit loosey-goosey and actually glue them in, and then he would shave down the heel area so it was a little better access. So here's what I'm talking about. Like, you can get away with, see how thick this heel is here. For those of you who are still wondering what the differences are, you kind of have to have something to screw to. Now, on other guitars, they've shaved some of this back or rounded it over more, but or you could do like my friend Bruce used to do and glue the necks in and hog a bunch of wood off the heel here and gain some access that way. So I hope this answers a bunch of questions, and I hope it sparks a little bit of debate in the comment section below. If you guys like this video, give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, why don't you go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you appreciate content like this, you might want to go to our Patreon page and consider becoming a member. Even $1 a month goes a long way to helping us bring you guys cool stuff like this, including answers to viewer mail. If you can't do Patreon, I totally understand. Please like this video and share it as many places as you possibly can. That helps us out a lot. We are closing in on 10,000 subs, and I think the more people that share this video, the more people see it. The closer we get to that 10,000 sub mark. So that's a cool thing. Okay guys, so this is Matt at Texas Toast in our brand new shop, reminding you that if you're so smart, build it yourself. That's what I do. Thanks for watching, everybody. So today, Ian and I are scrubbing the floor of the new shop.
And Chris just got here.
Chris just got here too. So as you can see, we got all new lights and everything's painted. And it's ready to make a great big mess. Huh, Chris?
Yep.